Now we've got Sylvester kind of looking a little bit more handsome. There we go, Sylvester. Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2 playing our city of Walden. And in this part, we're gonna jump right in. We've got the new update, and so I want to go ahead and get rid of this building, say goodbye to this office, adios, and let's replace. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize they shrunk the size of this UI, and I did not notice before I started playing. Just a little bit smaller. I want to re-add the round office because this presumably should work now. I want it to be right here on this corner. And then I just want to fix this surface because I think before, oh my God, these icons are so small, so tiny. I think before we had this fill, I believe most of this, I don't remember. There we go. Round office is backing in. Let's go ahead and just get rid of the few trees we did have here. I'm just going to replace those. We'll just have 4 of them right along the side. Beautiful. But now the round office is back. It's functioning. We've got employees. Things are looking pretty good. And I will say, the way this skyline looks now is so much stronger. I do think I'm having issues with Lumina, so if it looks a little different than it did previously, just ignore that. I haven't taken the time to fix Lumina just yet. Now, what I want to work on today, after we have that in place, I want to work on Sylvester. Before we do, let me go ahead and add in the urban cycling initiative to most of our downtown districts. All right, so I've gone through and I added the urban cycling initiative to all of these districts kind of here in the downtown area. So on this side of the river, as well as this main area here of our city. And what I want to focus on today is doing a bit more work over here in Sylvester. There's a lot that we could do to make this look a little bit nicer. Unfortunately, for everyone who lives in Sylvester, this is going to require I do a little bit of bulldozing. What I want to try to rework this area, and this is going to cause us to lose some jobs, and that's okay. All of this here we placed by hand, so I would like to keep that. But let's go ahead and just remove. Oh, well, I didn't mean to remove that building or that road, but we're going to just get rid of everything that's here, and let me even get rid of this surface. We don't even need it. Sorry, everyone. I know I keep deleting your homes. I would say I don't mean to, but I absolutely do. It's for progress. It has to happen. You got to get out of here. Oh, now I do want this street to have bikes on it, though. So we want to put bikes on both sides. There we go. All right. Now we've got all these people moving out. Sylvester's been emptied. Let's go ahead. Let me first just increase the size of this UI because it's kind of difficult for me to see this. I'm getting old. What can I say? Better. And I like that we've brought back the transparency. I enjoy the transparency effect, so I'm glad that that's still here. Okay, before we build any buildings, let me just get a sense here of what we're working with our public transit. I wish I could minimize this, though. Oh, you know what? There's a better way to do this. Here we go. All right, so we've got stops here in the center of this block. We've got stops along here, and then it just goes underneath here. Okay, so there's stops along this road, Sheffield Street, and there's stops along Walnut Street. Now, what I want to do is I want to use some of these high-density office evolution buildings. We're going to use Platter for this. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, and it shows me where there are buildings that fit this. Oh, this is an incredible upgrade. Oh my word. I love that. All right, well, let's do a really big one right here on the corner. Why not? Let's also do another really big one right over here in this corner. And should I do a second one there? Probably not. Can I fit the little guy? No, it doesn't fit perfectly. But that's okay. All right, so now we're going to get some of this office in here. Going to completely destroy the office demand we had. That's okay. And we also need to address some of this commercial demand. I'm thinking for commercial, I might actually do some of the mixed housing just because I want to really fill this whole area. If I was to make this a size 3, it doesn't really fit. It would fit this way and we could put a path next to it, which I don't hate that idea. Although I didn't even get the building that's apparently at that size. There's one. Let's get rid of this until we get what we want. Maybe better yet, let's get rid of that. Let's place a 3x3 right here. And then let's use the 3x3 as the means to set up this road. It's not going to be a perfect connection, right? We're going to eat into this block a little bit, but I think that just looks a bit nicer. You have to scoot on over so you can get past these buildings. Great. We do have 3 buildings that are this size, so I might go ahead and place another one right next door. Or we could do, oh, we can't fit that just yet. We could fit this here. So there could be, here we go. There could be a 2-2, and then there could be a 2-4 right by it. And then I wonder, is there a 4-4 that we can sneak on in here? We can. We can. And we can do this 4-5. Shut it down. And we can do another one here. Although it's giving me that little 2 building. I don't want the 2 building. Nothing? Okay. It's prioritizing the fact that it's on the corner, which is fine, but it's not what I want. So here, we're just going to place this by hand. I just got to be careful not to delete the building behind it. There we go. So now we're going to get a whole series of buildings in here, which is very exciting. I do hope this is not the same building as this building, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Who knows what we're going to get. That addressed some of the commercial demand, but not all. So I do think we also want to do some just general high density commercial. We could do a really big guy, maybe right here on the corner. Is there any section there that works? What if I focus on this way? And this is going to be quite a big building. But I do think this area needs to start seeing some growth. And the best way to do that is to add in some taller buildings. Now, the question becomes, do I place this and have that weird spot in the middle? I think we do, because then we could put some kind of park there, I think. And then over here, I could easily fit, well, I can't easily fit. That's a 3x2. Can we do one of these guys right next door and just have some open space? There's that tree in the center. That works for me. That works for me. Oh, it's the same building. It's the same building. We're going to let it be. We're going to let it be. I find that building so beautiful. I don't want to get rid of it. I do just wish they weren't so close together, but maybe once all these buildings are in place, you won't even notice it that much. All right, let's add in a little park here. I think we just need a little something. This guy could go right here. It would almost reach all the way to the back. This guy's going to be too long. Yeah, so this is our only option. Fine with me. If I just sneak that in there. It did mess up my building, though. Which begs the question, do we just get rid of that and do we maybe just use like regular office? Go ahead and let buildings build in there. Can this sneak in here? Is there 1 pixel? No, not even close. All right, so then I think in here what we can do is once these buildings come in, we can figure out how to fake that building. But yeah, now we're gonna get some height over here, which I'm excited about. All right, now we've also gotten rid of a lot of the housing that was over here. And I do wonder if we still want to keep this Mosswood Street, this tiny little road in the middle. I think we're going to for now. I would like some additional buildings over here, though. So let's do some low density. And actually, you know what? I might even be able to do this with this update for road placement. If I just turn it off on these roads and force the road placements to be, is that going to mess that up? It did not. Okay, great. Force the road placements to be in the center. At least for some of this, we can get away with placing the zoning like the normal way. If I get rid of this, I get rid of this. I don't have any zoning on the tiny road. So all the actual building entrances are going to be facing the main streets. That could work. What if we do low density here? We also do some low density here next to this other guy. That's going to tank a ton of that demand. But if we go into medium density, we could also do medium density throughout this block, as well as maybe this block and this block. Honestly, that block looks like it could even just be regular townhouses, if I'm being honest. What if we just did normal townhouses right along there? Or we bring in the Netherlands townhouses over this way. That way we have some continuity between this side and this side over here. Now, funny enough, we just built this crematorium in the last part. It doesn't even have all of its hearses in use, but there are still hearses waiting, or people waiting dead at each of these buildings. Like, get moving, guys. I did not limit you to any specific zone, and this building decided to turn bright purple for a second there. Glad that fixed itself. Okay. So now we're getting some more people in here. That's great. I do think we might benefit from additional parking. I don't necessarily think this is the area for it. I kind of want to turn a portion of this area into a larger parking lot. Can I fit one in here if I snap to the road? That's going to be a bit too big. This would fit just fine. This would fit just fine. We've got a building there. Maybe we place it closer to this corner. It kind of looks like it connects in with that road, which is not bad to me. Let's do a little bit more commercial. I think we could benefit from some. And I might just do regular zoning for this, and we might just go like this and keep them about the same depth as this building here. But now we're really going to start to see some development here in this area. And you know what? With all that in place, oh, I guess maybe because there's zoning. Let's do this. All of this can go away. Then I can go back here, clear it off with right click. Perfect. And then we can re-add in some more Netherlands buildings there. Yeah, that's great. I would like to do some more of the USA Northeast medium density housing. We've got a little bit of demand here. I'm just going to fill this whole area. Let's see what zones in. Nothing's zoned there, so we're going to clear it. And if nothing zones in here, we'll clear both of those as well. And then we can use platter to do a little bit more of this mixed use. I think we might even just do regular mixed use and kind of mix them together, if you will. Let's see what we've got. We do have a 2-3 that I think could go right here. Nope, it can't. Well, did I just ruin all this? I did. Maybe we do a high density building instead then. What if we do a southwest high density? I don't have many of those. It's going to give me 3 of basically the same building. That could be good. It could be bad. If I get rid of those 2, do we end up getting anything different? Or is it always going to be 3 of the same building? Looks like it might always be the same. We'll see what that gives us. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen there. Back here, we could go for more. I really want to use... Ooh, actually, you know what? Sorry, all of you guys. You got to go. This is going to be transitioned into the medium density Netherlands housing. It's going to fill that block so much nicer. So much nicer. And I actually think I might do the same thing over here. If we clear off the zoning here, and here, and here. Although actually we do want zoning there on our Anchor Street because I don't actually think these go 3 back, do they? Oh, they do. Oh, that's going to be a nice block. That's going to be a nice block. All right. Right in here, I think we do a bit more business, a bit more office, or a bit more commercial. Excuse me. We need more commercial. The only real options we've got are NA high density, or we can build out some of the mixed use, which part of me thinks doing the mixed use is the better play just because we can never have enough housing. We never seem to be able to meet that demand. So let's do this. Let's place a pathway behind these houses. Let's place another pathway behind these houses. I might even just upgrade these into full pathways. There's no crosswalk in the middle there, but why not? And then we can fill this area with all mixed use housing. Northeast style. Too much? Nobody wants to go there? What if we were to do a Chinese high density office right here? Let me just fill the whole block, see what we get. All right. All right, that can work. I can get into that. We do have this like open strip here, but I think if that's all trees, that could look really nice. Now, we've got some problems. All this looks great. Huge fan. Right here, we have 3 of the exact same building. 3 of the exact same building. Right here, we have 2 of the exact same building. So that's not going to work for me. So let's do this. Let's clear this out. Get rid of this building. And let's clear these 2 out. And then why don't we just do more commercial? Right? If we just went like this and filled all this with commercial, we could get all of that demand met. And still leave some spots for parking and things like that. And then again, we've got the same block set up right there. If this is the same fancy building, like the modern building is the other one, it is. Ooh, it's gonna irk me. It's gonna irk me. What if we were to do I have one that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 6 wide and goes 4 back. This is a UK medium flats. It's residential, but why not? Again, something different, just changes that skyline up a bit, which I like. All right. While all this zones in, again, 2 of the same building, you got to be out of your mind. I like the one that's in the middle. I don't think I like the one that's on the corner. So instead, we're going to solve this by using the Netherlands medium density. And we're just going to send this all the way along this edge here. If I do it by just 5 deep, turn everything off except for snap to road. Can we do 6 deep? No, not without hitting that building. So we'll place that right there. Get 3 other buildings there. Just gives us more density. Pretty decent. Now we've got to make this look nicer. So I'm just going to go block by block for this. In here, all of this from the front level looks pretty decent. We've got some setup back here in the back. I think a lot of this is going to be surface work. Like if I zoom in here, I can easily add another node right here. Let me turn on all of my snap twos. And we'll just send this pathway all the way down. And that just fills in that area nicely. This looks pretty good. We've got to wait till that zones in. That'll need to be zoned in as well. This right here, I might even just put a little bit of unmowed grass behind it, because this should be relatively straight. Connect right over to here. Connect straight on down to here. And then connect straight on down to here. Bam, get a little bit of grass. Right over here, I think this could all be concrete. You're in the city, so there's not going to be a ton of buildings that have beautiful lawns, at least not in this denser part of the city. I like that this is some kind of park next to this like hotel plaza moment. And then back in some of these, I'm just going to do a lot of tree work. Honestly, this is just going to get grass. Going to get grass. Going to be a little strip of unused land. We'll leave that be. Right here, I might even just use this concrete texture. I might hate that once that building zones in. Nope. Love that. That's great. How does this look 3 of the same? Actually, hold on. This actually looks great. If I copy the same texture across those buildings, it looks like one big building. I don't hate that at all. I don't hate that at all. In here, I am going to do grass again. This whole section, I like the idea of keeping it grass. See, in this way, we're getting some nice green spaces. Things are starting to decline a little bit in terms of their height. Now, I haven't used this yet, but I should be able to mark the buildings as historical. Yes. So that building is now marked as historical. Let me just quickly pause. Did that locking option disappear? Okay, it was just transitioned into make historical. So it auto did that. Oh, that is exceptional. Exceptional. Okay, so those buildings are historical. They're not going to change. Over here, we've got a lot of buildings that are going to upgrade and change over time, but I'm happy with what we got so far. This will definitely be historical. Please and thank you. All right, this all looks pretty good. I mean, we might do a little bit more work here and there. I like really forcing these green spaces in. I know I fill them with trees, but I just think that looks so nice. We've got traffic coming in, which is great. And now we've got Sylvester kind of looking a little bit more handsome. There we go, Sylvester. We still have these 2 blocks to do, though, so I think we should take care of those. Now, I purposely left this because I thought just how this intersection looked pretty cool. Could we get away with a small... No, we can't get away with a small little guy there. I think we're going to leave it just like that. Like, why not? In this section, I kind of want to build, do we just have like a big building? Brand and lifestyle center, 5% industrial efficiency, 5% export profits, 5% entertainment. Yes, something like this, like something that's big and just takes up a lot of space. Can we get it right on the corner? Because I would like it to be right on the edge. Honestly, looks pretty good to me. Yes. Oh, I love that. All right, brand and lifestyle center right there. It does have low noise pollution, but honestly, you're on top of a roof. Although these are residential, like it's high density over here, so I don't think that's a big deal. I think on this side, I kind of want to have a huge parking lot right here. And then behind it, maybe we build some kind of custom plaza. If I was to go for this guy, it just doesn't fit. This does fit. And this is a decent parking lot. Does it make more sense to just put a parking lot behind it, though? Like, those are also small. What's that look like? That's actually perfect, having a parking lot right next door just like that. Maybe what we do is we have like a little collection of smaller buildings along this side. I know this all started with the NA mixed Old Town style apartments. There's also the EU mixed ones. I wonder if we do a few of these along this road here. Like if I was to place one here, let's make sure they snap next to each other. I think I do that with this button, right? Yeah, I do that here. There's like 9 different versions of these. I'm almost half tempted just to anarchy this in. Is that ideal? Probably not, but come on. And that kind of calls back to the heritage of what Sylvester used to look like. Then right here, I think this needs to be a big plaza. I think that makes the most sense. Let's get rid of all the trees that are in this space. There we go. And I'm just going to take one of the surfaces that's already underneath of this building. This one here is like the plaza surface with the like bricks on it. So this is just going to come all the way out. Got a little autosave going. We love to see it. Let's send this over here and just have a whole large plaza area. I might even bring these down to connect here. Now we've got this plaza. This is a perfect chance to use, if I head over to here, to use these guys here, the raised beds. Now, I want big ones. This is an 8x8. Let's do the circle 8x8s. Yes, this is exactly what we want. If I come in here and we do a collection of these right here, bam, it's going to be a pretty simple plaza. It's not going to be anything crazy. Maybe we do a poplar in here and we do just a really big one. Maybe the largest. Nah, not big enough. I mean, we could always go, ooh, you know what? Let's go for the almost full-size alder. I want to see it, though. I think that's what I'm struggling with, is I want to see underneath. This could work. If we bring this straight along here, bam. We've got all those alders there. And then here's what we're going to do. To make this a little bit more lively, I want to get the invisible path. What I want to do, I'm going to turn everything off. And we're going to use the continuous curve tool. And we're going to just start connecting things up to other things. And it deleted... What? What just happened? Hello? Okay. Please hold. Now, unfortunately, we do have some buildings here that I think might need to change in the future because this particular bridge here is heavily trafficked. So eventually this is going to need to probably be updated, but for now we're going to leave it as is and we'll come back and do a revitalization project in the future. I'm also going to go ahead and mark all 3 of these as historical. I just really like the way all 3 of these look next to each other and I don't want that to change. Ooh, I don't want that corner bone to change. That's phenomenal. What are you? You're just a regular, schmegular commercial building, yet you look so good. Now, right here, we are going to add in another parking garage. I don't think I have many over here. We have one back here. I'd like to fit another one. I'd specifically like this. It's going to destroy basically that entire block, though, which I don't love. We could do something like this, or we could get rid of... We could get rid of that guy there, place this here, right along the back, and do more buildings along that side. If I was to come in here like this, get rid of this guy, place this right along the backside there. That rounds out this whole section, makes that look really nice. These are all USA Northeast. What if we just did more USA Northeast over here? We might even put another path in here. Why not? I realize I'm also leaving myself no space, none whatsoever, to add in additional infrastructure for public transit. But you got to do what you got to do. All right, Sylvester is on the up. They are having a serious glow up. Look at that. We now have 1,300 households, which is 2,000 people, as well as 1,000 employees, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now, let's go ahead and figure out how this is going to expand out a little bit before we do anything with public transit. I'm going to keep the center divide. I think I like that idea a lot. Wide median with grass. I would like both options selected. Why can't I do both? Yes, and? Is that not how that's going to work? We've got this bridge coming down, which means the bridge is going to be the main driver of what happens next. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to send this out quite far, 400 meters. I think I'm also going to bring this one out 400 meters. Are those matching, or is that getting further away? I can't tell. what's the length here? This is 176. What's the length here? 176. Oh, they are exactly the same. Now, we are going to have to do a little anarchy work here and there because some of these I did place a little precariously. We'll send this guy out again. This should be 400 meters. Right there is technically where they connect. Here's how we're going to do this. Turn anarchy off. Send this out just like this. I want this to be a perfect 6 on both sides. We want nice wide blocks going this way. I do have to anarchy this so that it works. Place that there. Great. And then for this one, we're going to send this straight on down. I love how this doesn't have the same anarchy restriction as the other ones do, even though you would absolutely think it would. All right, we'll send that straight on down there. All right, get rid of this section of Fawn Street. Now we've got our additional roads. Again, we're totally flat right here. There's no reason for me to mess with anything. This actually is not totally flat. We've got a curve here. And maybe what we can do is we can start leveraging that earlier on. Like if I was to take this road and begin to curve this around this way, and we send it out like that, get rid of this, right? So now we start to expand out this way because this is going to be more suburban. This is about as far as like the dense city portion I think is going to be for now. We might change that later, but I do want to keep this relatively tight. Can I take this exact avenue with the trees and everything in the middle? Oh, I can't. All right, we're just going to build this by hand then. We're going to do the wide avenue. I'm going to turn off bike lanes for this. We have our contour lines on. There's nothing of note to notice. Let's send this up 200 meters. I didn't mean to keep all that on. Half the distance of this new block that we're going to start working on. And then we're going to curve this over this direction pretty aggressively, maybe to here. And at some point here, what I'm thinking we're going to do is I think we're going to send this so that this goes maybe underneath the highway and there's a more simple interchange right here. Do we like underneath or do we want over? I think it could be pretty if it was underneath. I really do. So let's do this. Let's turn down. How far is this? This is 120. Let's go to 120. And let's bring this down to 7.5. Right? Then, if we grab our one lane tool and just go like this, bam, and maybe right here, bam. Change both of these guys into bridged sections and then get rid of these little connections. We don't need them. I should be able to take this straight on under without anarchy. 0 grade change. Then we went 120 and we went back up to 0 at the 120. Just like that. Right? It's simple. It's nothing crazy. It's not extravagant by any means. But it also means we now have the ability to add in additional connections here for the highway. I want to put grass in the center all the way through. And what tree is this? A chestnut? I want it to be this size? I think so. Or is this the largest? Might even be the largest chestnut. No, it's not the largest. It's the second to largest. Yeah, it's this one. We're going to put the chestnut tree all the way along the middle here, all the way up till it goes underneath. Something important is going to go back here. I don't know what yet, but I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to maybe expand this avenue straight on over this way. If we go with this avenue with bike lanes on both sides and we do it straight, we go ahead and get rid of this curve. We bring this down, not with parallel, at the 180 so that we can connect it up and in. Oh, this has a median. Who knew this had the median on it? I sure didn't. Upgrade with the median. I like the median because it's a little bit thicker. And so we're able to use this road for other things. If we need to make an upgrade to it, it's not going to be as frustrating to do. This is then going to connect right up into here. Right here's my 180, and I think we're going to stick with it. It makes a funky block there. There's got to be a way to get this to connect into the highway. I'm almost tempted to send this road out and up and in and dead end it here and have this be like a major entrance. All right, I have an idea. What if we took a highway, 4-lane, 2-way highway, and we sent it out, do like a little park low over here. We come out to here. Oh. I also want this to have constant slope on. It shouldn't have much grade change or at all, but it does look like we're getting a little bit of grade change. If we sent this out to here, and then we rotated it around like this, we could then add... You know what? I don't even know if I would rotate it like that. I think I might just leave this. And from here is where we build this. We take a 2-lane road here, and I think we do continuous. We go just like this. This would need to then upgrade into a 4-lane before upgrading into a raised 3-lane. Right? To get people onto the highway that way. This section, I think, would just get upgraded into a 2-lane. Keep it what it was. And then we build another 2-lane. I'm going to build this backwards. And maybe we will use continuous for this one as well. We'll bring it out. We'll bring it over like so. And we'll bring it down and in. Then we can upgrade this segment. Although there's a small little section there in the middle, which I don't love. Oh, you know what? Here's the problem. I got to rotate this first. If we rotate that around and then we upgrade this, that could work. Okay. For the sake of doing this without anarchy, which I try to do as much as possible, we're just going to upgrade this tiny little segment for now and then get rid of this weird connection. I might need to do a little bit of work on this angle. If we were to send this up like so and then pull this in, there we go. So now we've got some kind of like one-way park load that connects out of here and gets into this area, which will take some traffic off of this roundabout interchange. I don't remember who posted the comment, but I'm going to post it on screen while I'm editing. Someone had mentioned, what if the intention here was always to take this highway and send it along the side of the canal? This was going to integrate everything together into the city. That was always the point. But as people moved into Briarwood Ridge and into Sylvester, there was a whole NIMBY pushback. And they were like, you're not blocking our view from the canal. And that's what caused Keyshore Park to be created. They were like, you're not putting a highway here. Instead, we're putting a park here. And there's nothing you can do about it. And so we were stuck with this less than ideal connection. It's a pain point for everyone. But it's what they got in return, because nobody was going to pay to upgrade this if the idea of putting the highway was shot down. So that's how we ended up with this terrible connection here. People are already using this, which is great. I am curious to see how this traffic works. If we go into the lane connector tool and I remove unsafe, we're going to get rid of a lot of U-turns, which is useful. Oh, no. Do I want to get rid of the U-turns? Get rid of the U-turns, and I think get rid of the unsafe. You have to go into the lane that is a safe lane to go in. This person's just stuck. Like, where are you trying to go? You got yourself organized? There we go. There we go. And I will say, we didn't have any hills here, but now we've created one. And I think that this connection needs to be rebuilt with constant slope. This is going to look way different. Yeah. That looks so much better. Okay. With all that, we should also just begin to smooth this area out a little bit. I want to slope some of this. If I go down to 40 and we go down to 30, we take this height here and we go right into the middle from that height. We do the same thing here. Then here we grab this height and we slope that as well. It's not going to be a huge change, but it's going to be just enough that like just makes way, way, way more sense. Then what we can do is we reduce this down to 40. And we just begin to smooth out these exterior sections. And now we've got that kind of built in there, which is great. And this is really quickly moving people onto the highway, which we love to see. Do I add another exit here? Kind of unnecessary. You get off here. You can come down this way to go this way. There's no way for this other side of Sheffield to interact with this yet, but we'll deal with that as we continue to expand out that way. And I'm seeing this. There's a straight shot to the train station. Why would that not connect? But that's a future problem. We're not really doing Briarwood today. Okay, we've got all this in place. That's looking pretty good. We added in a new underground parking garage, which I like. Let's get back to this new area. I really want, and I know this is going to be, I guess, theoretically a little boring, but I really want just rows and rows and rows of row houses. Like that to me sounds perfect, but I'm going to try to do this in a different way. So what I'm thinking is let's get a regular avenue. We're going to send this avenue straight on down from here. This avenue, although it's next to another avenue, totally separate road, and not all the roads on here are going to connect onto Lavender Street. Let's then go ahead and let me find, I think, a house I want to use. I think that's going to help us kind of set the tone for this area, because some of these houses, I do want them to be low density, single family. And these houses specifically could work really well with the separated yards. You also have the terraced housing, which we could do some terraced housing along here. That would be different. Yeah, I'm wondering if the semis are what we want to do over here. Okay. So here's what I think. I think what we do is we have a block that goes through here. Let's just see what we're working with. That's 6 back. I wouldn't mind it being 6 back. If I was to place a road here, what's the length of this block? Only 64 meters? I think I want it to be a bit more than that. So if I was to come back to about here, it's like 90-ish meters. That would be more of a square-shaped block. I don't necessarily want a square. Let's go ahead and just get this in here. We'll start with this section and we'll see where it goes. Okay, so we're getting this structure in place. I think we are going to get rid of these 2 roads here. I think there's just too many road connections there. So we got some larger blocks there on the corner. And I also would like to see a connection all the way through. If I do it here, though, that's going to make this road more of a high priority road. So maybe it's a road that we connect further down this way, and we just leave this be kind of separated for now, because that could work out pretty well. And then with biking along both edges, you can take the bike and you can move yourself into this quieter roads. The challenge we've got is I want a very specific kind of house. What are the options you have? You have some 3s, which we could have 3 and 3, and the people would not be living along the main road, which would be pretty nice. If I turn everything on here and we just snap this into place, it doesn't really work in the way we want. All right, so we're going to get some buildings in there just like that. Those are going to be a little bit different than what we've got going on everywhere else. In the rest of this area, I'm just going to use regular schmegular NA medium density row housing. All right, so here's what I'm thinking and why I have this set up in this way. We've got these row homes. They're going to slowly continue to upgrade. They'll get a little bit taller. But then we're starting to transition into houses that have yards. Now, are they perfect? No, they're still quite small. But by having houses with yards, we're able to get a little bit nicer setup here. By having houses with yards, we're going to start being able to transition into lower density single family homes as we get out this way. So it's all helping us kind of set the tone here. Now, some of this, I know what to do. Like, I know for a fact that right in this area, I mean, I'm half tempted to try this. Do we think this will work? I don't know if it will. If I do that, it messed up even those. Yeah, it messed up even those ones. So I can't really do this. That'll mess up that guy. But I guess technically we could probably move that whole block over, no? Like if we do this so that we're not creating any crosswalks, turn it all on to get this in the right spot. Then turn all this off except for angle. We can fix both of those. That's absolutely fixable. Right here, if we try the same thing, something's going to get deleted. No? Wow. Didn't anticipate that. All right, so we got some like little alleyways, some tiny little guys here and there. I'm going to grab one of these houses. I'm going to turn off snap to road. We are going to fit this. Rotate it. It will fit next to its friend. That's perfect. Okay, so we're slowly transitioning into some smaller buildings. Now, I do need to make an adjustment to how this is working because I think what I've done is not allow myself... Oh, well, it's got to happen. I need to rebuild these. What we need to do is do the terraced housing that we were using before. Let's go back into here. We were doing UK low density terraced housing. Or was it semi-detached? Crap, I actually think I wanted the semi-detached. You know what? I think what I need to do is I need to intersperse it. So let's get even crazier. Sorry to everyone that's moving in. You gotta go. And let me just get all this rezoned a little bit nicer. Okay, so now we've got this beautiful gradient where we start coming down from our skyscrapers over here. It moves on down this way. I really think these buildings are broken. So I'm thinking what I need to do is this. I need to grab this building just like so. And we're going to place it right over top. Just like that. This building is ironically the exact same. So we're going to place that right on top. And this one's the exact same too. I wonder if that building is broken. Like, who's waiting for an ambulance? A person here. Are you going to move away or are you guys just permanently stuck there? Just delete it. I didn't know I could delete it, but we just deleted it. That's perfect. All right, so now we've got this nice little gradient here. You start up here and you start moving down into these burbs. These areas here all have backyards, so they're starting to get a little bit larger, which looks a little bit nicer and can fan out and spread into nicer single-family home development in the future. I think that looks really nice. Now, this area doesn't have a zone yet. We got to do that. Let's go and just give it a little bit of a district. I'm thinking that this little area is just going to be a nice big square. Is that boring? Yeah, 100%. Is that what this is going to be though? Yeah, 100%. We're in that part of the city where like just having the blocks, I think looks pretty nice. Let's name this Anchor Ward. And you guys will also like biking a lot because Sylvester also likes biking. So that kind of makes a little bit of sense there. All right. We do need services. We don't have any services kind of servicing most of this area, I don't think. Does this area have its own health care? It doesn't. It doesn't even have a clinic. The Netherlands Hospital is quite pretty. We also could do one of these other hospitals or these other medical clinics. This would fit perfectly in here. And I almost think we should do this guy because it's on a major road here if we place it right here. And we can limit this to work here, 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 and here. It's going to focus its work on this area. I might even go ahead and give it the upgrade. If I anarchy in the upgrade, it just fills that block really nicely and gives us some big buildings here. It does also help bring that height over a little bit, which I like to see. In terms of death care, we do have a crematorium right there, so we don't need more death care in this area, at least. We're not too worried about trash or recycling. We've got more than enough garbage processing capacity. Schools is where we're going to have an issue. Schools is where we're going to have an issue. What schools does Sylvester use? They only have access to the high school. Really? You only have access to this high school, which is absolutely full. So let's go ahead and get it some additional space. And let's give it the other upgrade as well. Where do you work? You work in a lot of districts. One, let's take Briarwood off. And let's take Sylvester off. It doesn't make sense for you to work in both of those districts. That could help that high school a little bit. There's another high school here, which is really working on this side. This is an elementary school. Do we have any other high schools? Elementary, elementary, elementary. Is this elementary? No, college. So why don't we also give Emerald Pier access to this high school? Because that makes a little bit more sense to me. And this has access to what high schools or what areas again? All right, so Emerald Pier is being shared for both sides of this high school. I like that. That means Sylvester and Anchor Ward need their own high school infrastructure. They have nothing of their own. The modern high school is fun. And that could even go right here, facing along Lavender. Well, no, Lavender Street's kind of an exit road. I don't even know how many kids this holds. 1750? What if you worked right here? What do we have? We've got additional teaching buildings, adds 1,000 student capacity. Student dormitories adds 200 capacity. And mindfulness room. Mindfulness exercises can help students regulate emotional stress after a heavy course load, improves the health and well-being of the students. Why not? Let's do it. All right, so that's our modern high school right there on the edge. And I'm actually excited about maybe making some kind of additional plaza or something behind here. And maybe even starting to take over some of this. We also need elementary schools. Now, elementary schools are where we're going to have our biggest problem. None of these schools are going to be big enough. None of them. Not a single one. Could this fit right here? If I was to place it along this road? It could fit right there. It could fit right next to these buildings here. It would get rid of that parking lot. I think let's actually get rid of this parking lot. It's rare that a building fits in a zone like this naturally, and the fact that it does tells me it's meant to be. So let's at least for now set it up for these two buildings, or these two districts. I don't exactly know what's going to happen behind here. I think, just to keep it nice and tidy, we're going to fill it with trees and call it a day. And at this point, we're getting underneath of the bridge anyway. But so now we've got a high school functioning for both these areas and a and an elementary school. If we wanted to look at fire, there's no fire suppression over in this area. We could sneak it over there. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Does it go right here? Shut it down. Oh, my word. It goes right there on that corner. Now, you are going to be limited. You have to work in this section. This is your zone, Mr. Little Firehouse. Then we also need a police station. I'd want it right here. Just like that. Right next door is this little plaza, right? It messes up these houses. But it helps expand the height over a little bit, which we like. Now, if I was to come in here, let's turn on anarchy and let's move these overlapping surfaces out of the way. There we go. So now that's all a part of the same unit next to the firehouse. It's not ideal for the people who live here, right? But what are you going to do? I might even say, sorry to the people who live here. We're going to get rid of your houses entirely. And we're going to put a pathway right here. And just kind of separate that out a little bit and kind of keep that pathway going down. I like that. I like that. Oh, I didn't realize anarchy was on for that. My bad. Now, we haven't done anything with transportation yet. We're going to. And in terms of parks, this area is actually pretty well covered. Funny enough, it's got this little park here, but because it's not super dense yet, all those parks seem to be covering everything over here. So there's no other need for additional parks in this area. I will say, though, if you live down here, that's a pretty far walk for a park. So out of the sake of being kind, I'm going to put another park over here. We're just going to do a small park, though. It's not going to be anything crazy. We'll put a small park right here on this corner. So now there is a park for the people who live in this area. With all that in place, I think we need a bit more commercial. We don't got enough. I kind of think we let the commercial all zone along this road here. But I think what we do is we turn off the zoning here. That way everyone is stuck on this side, and I'm going to use the northeast style. We're going to go all the way back with it. We'll go 5 back with it. We'll let that zone in. It's going to give me all the same. But of all the options, you're going to give me all the same building this whole time. That's the only thing you can come up with? Okay, different buildings. There we go. All right, we've got a nice little collection of commercial buildings all along this strip here. I do think on this road, I want to upgrade it so that it's got parking along both sides. I feel like this tiny little town, it would definitely have parking on both ends. And maybe we upgrade this into a 4-lane. You'd get a dedicated turn lane. We have to anarchy it in. It's making this intersection a total cluster. But now you got a dedicated turn lane to pull in. I think for both of these, we put trees along the sides. Okay, a little bit of clipping there. And we expand the sidewalks. I don't want you parking along this road. So we need trees and we need sidewalks extensions. Beautiful, beautiful. Do we do trees in here? Most of these people will not have their own parking spaces. So I think what we do is we put trees along Fawn Street and some of these large in-between roads, right? But we leave actually, we can do trees and cars. Oh, all of this area here gets trees. That'll be nice. Once those grow up, you've got trees and cars and all these people living here. Now, the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to just finish out these 2 blocks. Next part, I do need to think about what the public transit looks like over here. And I think now that we're starting to get some of these lower density, but still high density suburban or kind of sprawl areas around the city, we need to think about doing some kind of rail, whether that is a subway or a trolley, but we need to think about something that can interconnect the main downtown of the city with this area here. This building is broken again. I'm going to delete the dead body and I'm going to delete the person who's stuck. Sorry, you just got to go. You're dead. So deleting you from the map, I don't think makes all that much of a difference. All right. In the back of this, it would also be nice for there to be some rear parking back here. The problem is, if I upgrade this to this is a lot of parking along the front of these houses. But should I actually flip this around? What if we got rid of the trees all along the back here? What if we put trees all along the front here? You know what I want? I almost want to make my own road, because it would be nice to have parking here. Maybe we do it like that and we do parking there. If I got the smallest, no, it would mess up that building. And I really do like having that building there. Yeah, I really like having that building there. All right, but this puts the parking in the back, and there's some parking at the front as well, but there's still better connectivity all throughout here. I also wonder if this little road should be a 4-lane. I know that feels excessive, but if it was a 4-lane, we would have some dedicated turn lanes, which I think could be valuable. We could still turn off the extra parking and just have that be all concrete. Because once I come in here, and I'm not going to do all of this now, but once I come in here and do a little bit of work with these surfaces, like that feels really intentional, and I like that a lot. Right along here, I think we just do a line of trees. Line of trees, super simple, super easy. We will let them change size. Can really fit them nice and close together. And just give you some protection. The people who live here still have parking in front of their houses, but that's okay. And it actually makes me think that now that we're seeing this, all of this needs to be upgraded into an avenue at this point. And that avenue feeds into here. It then ends up connecting into this bridge that goes into the downtown. Now, the last part here, I think we need some kind of park or plaza. I know we don't technically need it, but I do want something in this little area. I don't know if anything's going to fit, though. Now, we've already anarchied a bunch of stuff in here, so, like, would it be the worst thing if we anarchied something else? Probably not. We could do the round park. You know what? We could do the round park, and we could do something similar to what we did with the elementary school over here in Walnut Heights, where we take a plaza. I'm going to use this one. And we just go around the outer edge here, and we fill the rest of this with a plaza texture. Connect these two up to each other, wrap it back around, bam. Which that's kind of nice because now this is all a commercial corridor. There's this big bottle cap office, which also functions as a museum. You also have the Brandon Lifestyle Center. So there's a lot of entertainment happening. So having some space for people to gather, I think works out really nicely. That looks pretty good. Now, before we close, I do think we need a post office. We don't have one over here. I don't even know if we have one assigned to this area. I'm kind of tempted to do the EE post office. It's small and flat, but I think that could look nice, especially if you place it right here in the corner. It feeds on out. You can quickly get into either of these roads, and then you've got these cars parked along the edge here, which I think looks really nice. We'll have this here, and we'll set the districts for this to just cover this area. This is like that main post office for this section. We'll see if it's able to keep up. I don't yet know. That's already a level 5. Wow. It's beautiful. Like, what a building. I absolutely love that. And then let's go ahead and give these guys a few little post boxes. Maybe right here we'll place one. We'll also place one up over here. We'll place another one maybe over this way. And maybe we'll have one more right over here. That's pretty decent coverage. This area has this. There's not really a post box in the center section here. So we could have one right here on the corner that you could stop and pick up your post from. We also need another one of these radio masts. I have not unlocked the large ones yet. And some of that's on purpose just because I don't feel like rushing it. But I wonder if right over here we place one of these towers. Is there room for it to sneak behind here? There is. There's room for this to go right here. It's going to remove the trees. But I think we do it. And I also think we give it all the upgrades. Give it all of the upgrades. The noise level is still low. But if we now look at our comms, we've got a much better set of comms there. Is this one? That's the Japanese. There's no upgrades for that. Okay. It's pretty nice. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Lord, I follow your dad out. I can't have your tippy taps. I can't edit them out.